Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, everybody? Back today. Missed yesterday. Was home rather late yesterday, and the evening got away from me, so I did not have a chance to hop on here. I was going to go live in the morning, and then I decided to hop on the broadcast with the guys over at IU. So I didn't have time to do the live stream this morning either. So, that being said, here we are today. Forgive me if I'm a bit distracted. I am going back and forth with Chris Lanzelotti from IU, basically asking him to explain to me like I'm five how options affect stocks, because that's something I've never really studied or looked into, and yeah, I need some help there, and I'm not too proud to ask questions. So if I seem a bit distracted, I am currently in conversation with him. I am still running my scans, and I will do my best to multitask. But yeah, so just give me a couple minutes. I will hang out here just quietly. But I didn't want to miss another night. There's been quite a bit of action here in the beginning of the week. That was worth reviewing. But yeah, just bear with me. Give me a couple minutes, and I will be back. Stuff and such, Chris, Jeff, what's going on? Okay, while Chris is typing, I will go through some of my stuff here. Let me think here what I did yesterday. Let me try to remember. Still ignorant to how options work and affect stocks. I've tried to learn, maybe just haven't found the right video. Haven't explored it yet as much as I should. Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat there. Yeah, Timmy got number one. Once I get through my conversation here with Chris, I'm still going back and forth with him, but I will be open to kind of sharing my takeaways here. He's gone on about a 30-minute paragraph text chain with me here. So I will explain to the best of my ability how I understand what he's saying here, but we're just going back and forth. Will probably be some value add to. Sorry, guys, just bear with me here. I'll definitely chit chat in a second here. I guess I probably came on live a few minutes early. Um, my text with him had slowed down, but he might have just gotten busy. So now we're just messaging back and forth again. Okay, let me read chat here real quick. Um, so yeah, I could touch on this option stuff here. So I was asking questions to him because I'm looking for the meaner version on stuff like SBET and Jobby going into Thursday, Friday, and I see guys like Lance and Phil um, on Twitter looking for mean versions on these large caps into the Thursday, Friday Team 3D stocks, all day faders. He used to talk about the Thursday, Friday rule. So I've seen these guys talk about it, and I knew it had something to do with options, but I didn't really understand the dynamic. So Chris is really smart with this stuff. So I told him, I said, explain it to me like I'm five, and I'll try to understand it as best I can. So basically, the volume in which the option is trading is the same as a stock. It's what it's trading today, and the open interest is how much of that volume is still in the option. So the options, the open interest is like a 1 day delayed data point. And if that open interest is high going into Thursday, Friday, then the market maker, so if you buy a call, the market maker sells that call to you, but now needs to buy the stock equivalent to that levered options position to become net zero, so that if the stock goes up or down, they're not making or losing money. And because it's levered, the amount of stock you have to purchase is a larger quantity. Not in terms of its actual value, but in terms of like one contract is like 100 shares or something like that. So basically, it's the hedges that the market makers have to do that like makes the move in the stock a bit more violent, so to speak. So I was asking him questions, and sometimes with these questions, because it's not everything isn't created equal in a vacuum, so sometimes it's easier to have examples. So I just mentioned to him, hey, these questions I'm asking are based on these trades that I'm looking for, but I don't know if the options have anything to do with it. So I pulled up SBET, and the highest volume in the option on SBET is at $35, the 35 strike for the calls expiring on Friday. And the highest open interest currently is at like 20, but we've got 18,000 contracts traded at $35. So tomorrow at market open, we could have 18,000 added to the open interest if those didn't get closed out today. Therefore, the market makers would still have to have their hedges on to counter that sold call position into the market. So it's partially options driven, but you also have that crypto theme with SBET as well. Cool. So the last question I just asked to Chris there, I said, so based on our conversation, it doesn't sound like the options themselves move the stock. It's actually the hedges that the market makers have, which is, and how those hedges affect the stock, which moves it. And that's 100% correct. So. Okay, let me get back to chat here. How would I enter YHC? I waited for the breakout, got stopped out at 10:20 a.m., used VWAP as a risk. Where would you enter and risk? I know you like to stop out low a day, but I felt like it was too low. So YHC. So this, you got some overhead resistance here at 7.7. You got this shorter term breakout there at 494. So just based on this, I wouldn't be buying it because the overhead resistance is too close time and price wise. So that would be an immediate no-go for me. But if you're looking at this 5 breakout, you waited for the breakout and then got stopped out at 10:20. Right around here. So if you waited for the breakout, that would have been buying at 5. And if you stopped out at 10:20, you shouldn't have lost on you were never down on your position. So I'm thinking you were up and then were emotional into the pullback and were afraid to be giving back your unrealized profits. You didn't want to turn a winner into a loser, even though you were never really up on the position, so you never let the trade work. So that would be my first piece of feedback on it. My second piece of feedback is when I'm entering a breakout, I'm thinking, where do I think this can run to? Now, like I say, this wouldn't have been one I could play until it's over the 7s. And if there was no consolidation, there was no consolidation to play off of, so I couldn't have bought that 7 break either. But so just in a hypothetical scenario, say you were long this $5 break, where do you think it can go? Well, next logical resistance is the 760, 770 line. So if I'm looking for this to go from 5 to 770, that's 270, $2.70, which means for a 3-to-1 trade, I could risk up to 90 cents. And off of $5 to low a day is right around 80 cents. So that risk reward makes sense. I want the basically how I'm looking at entries to risk, like my risk reward ratio, is I want to risk as wide as possible, that the odds of me getting stopped out are as low as possible, but still keeping that risk reward ratio intact. So I'm still looking for that 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 5-to-1 on a good trade. But I also want that if I'm going to be making 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 on an average trade, I want to have at least like a 50% win rate. So where can I set my stop? So if you're buying and then risking VWAP, how often are you going to get stopped out on that? I don't know, but that's something you could backtest. How often am I going to get stopped out if I risk VWAP with a hard stop? How often does it pull back under it and stop me out? My assumption, which is why I've gone a wider risk to low a day, is because that VWAP crack is likely going to come more times than not, and you're going to get stopped out. So that's my feedback there. I would have risked low a day if I wanted to be in it. Okay, next point. It lost 225K without much capital. That's ridiculous. Yeah, risking low a day and affecting your risk reward. If you think the risk reward is too skewed, then don't be buying 5. Like, inherently, waiting for the breakout level is going to be a lower risk reward but a higher odds play. So this breakout here should be around a 65% win rate on that $5 break, with a risk to low a day. So that basically meaning buying a 5 break, risking low a day, should result in a 2-to-1 trade on average, with a then work 65% of the time. don't know if I finished that point, but I think I did. Sorry, very distracted. Okay, definitely an edge worth understanding. Would like your take on Inkit reversal if you're watching it, and I saw you post about cutting IBG this morning. Didn't get back in verse 1. Nope, I did not get back in IBG. That's all I did right here. I took it off. I had a small overnight there at 130, and it pulled back and just never firmed up. Basically, I didn't want this to break that 142, I think it was. 141, 142. If this double topped right there for 2 days and then broke that today, that would have been a super clean T+1 setup. But it's pulled back so much right now, I think it needs time. Whether it works or not. Yes, it's still holding 1. If this fails 1, it's toast. But VWAP here right around 110 and VWAP here right around 125. That's why I liked it better closing right near highs. I wanted to see it breaking that fairly close to open. And once it started to fail those key levels, I just took it off and never re-entered. Inkit, I traded that one today as well. It was on watch from the pre-market broadcast this morning. Big one-day move, pulled back for 2 days and was going green this morning. I took 1 loss, 1 win on it. I think overall I'm green. Yeah. So I had bought right here in pre-market before the open. It was like a couple minutes before the open and we were still holding green. So I bought it with half size risk on prior lows a day. It pulled back, failed, so I took it off. And then we got this fake low a day breakdown, higher low, and bids started stacking. So I bought and was risking low a day. Again, half size. And then once we broke the opening range highs, I added and got to full size risk off of lows a day. And we were going to 30s and was looking good. Was up a decent chunk there, just on like my average was right around 27.50. So I was up like $3 a share, risking $1. So that was already a 3-to-1 trade. But I was looking for 35 to 40, 45 best case. So I was looking to get a rip up into there, and the volume came in. It was holding up decent. Should have gone right here. Once we got this pullback, double bottom, higher low, it should have gone right there and didn't. So I sold under 29s and took a small win on that one. But I have no interest in trading this one tomorrow now. Volume just continues to drop off. It should have bounced today. First time going green. First time breaking opening range. Just didn't work. First green day is pretty trash lately. Yeah, ABVE proc work but chops? Yeah, I didn't touch proc. I did trade ABVE today. Worked really well pre-market. I had high hopes for this. This fit first green day criteria. The cleanest, picture perfect fit of first green day criteria I have seen in months is this right here. Like, I haven't seen one this clean in a really long time. It ran from 40 cents to $4, gap down, pulled back, gap down, pulled back, right back to prior day one support. It's just steady lows, steady lows. First time going green, holds prior day's lows, first time breaking opening range, like everything. It was perfect coming into today. So we got that week close. I was looking for flat open or gap down using prior day's lows as a guide. We got a flush even lower. I wasn't awake right here. I started to see it here right before 8 a.m. And at 8, it started to reclaim and hold VWAP. So I got long, was risking lows, about 20 cents a risk there. And it went green, swiped a couple times, but risk reward wise, it wasn't great. Like, I'm risking 25 cents or so I want to get at least 50 cents. And this parabolic volume here right in at 9 a.m., this was just a bit too much too fast. So I locked half and then sold the rest on the double top. And then we got the, so I locked that in, had a nice, probably 1.5 R, so I wasn't supersized, and risk reward wasn't the greatest, because it never offered a new risk level to use, so I was stuck risking like 25 cents. So 25 cents and made, like 80 cents? So it's, yeah, I wasn't full risk because it was pre-market, so it wasn't a full R. I ended up making like 1.5 R. And then we got the week open that I look for. Pulled back, week low a day break, so I bought some, partial size. It didn't go, so I sold it. And then we got another low a day break that absorbed. And then we got the first higher low and VWAP reclaim volume came in. This is the highest risk reward entry. A lower win rate, but a very high risk reward because it hasn't broken highs yet. So on an entry like this at 205, risking 198 or so, that's 7 cents of risk. And if this even gets back to pre-market highs, that's like a 5 to 1 trade. 5 to 1 trade. So super high risk reward entry, and ended up just not working. So I stopped it out. Basically, with those two attempts, I gave back the win here from the morning. So ended up giving all that back, unfortunately. But it should have worked. Like, the way this was setting up, this is like a 75-80% win rate. I will take this 10 times out of 10 if I get more of these. If we got one a day of these, I wouldn't trade anything else. This is the best setup that I like to trade. Sounds bullish on SBET. Probably talking about those option comments. Yeah, so for now, those 35 calls are in the money. So the options traders were buying the 35 calls. The market makers were selling those calls to the traders, and in turn were instantly buying the stock to net out their sold calls, which is pushing this higher. Chris was just telling me my options info, I think I'm just on like a web, like on a browser. I don't pay for options data. But he said that the 40 strikes were added, or were on there today. So I will have to check that out tomorrow and see if they're active. But basically, if those 18,000 shares or 18,000 contracts of the 35 calls get converted into the open interest tomorrow, which meaning that they didn't sell those calls, the options traders, then the market makers are still hedged. So you would want to see it fail sub 35 by Friday and then start to act heavy, because then those market makers can unwind those hedges and it will stay heavy once that stock hits the market. So it's not the options themselves that drive the market. It's the hedges that the market makers take and what they have to do with those hedges based on what the stock and the options traders are doing. So what I've gathered from it. Everyone's looking for the first red day. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking this one will be a bit more crowded and maybe trades a bit more like CoreWeave. Like everyone was looking for this first red day and it took a while for it to roll over. And I think that's going to kind of be what SBET is. Unless you get the options agreeing, you get Ethereum tanking. Like if you get all those variables that have pushed it up to start to unwind, then maybe that trade comes a bit cleaner. But I'm thinking technical wise, I don't think as many people are watching Jobby, and it's a very similar setup. I'd like this closer to 20 ideally. I don't think the options are super active on this one either. Let's see. Jobby. Volume. Yeah. There's only like a few thousand. Not a ton. So this one's not options driven. Aviation is at like Acher, and yeah. You got like that aviation basket. Are you watching SEPO, the next SPAC Bitcoin treasury play? Could finalize deal this week and take off. Could be another SEP-like run. Looks like it's already ran. No, I will not buy that. It's already extended. I don't know how to buy this. I don't just buy stocks for like just because like I have a thesis with how the news is going to play out. I use the news as like a secondary factor to me trading a daily chart setup. So if this pushed from 12 to 15, consolidated for 2 or 3 days and was going to re-break out of 15, that would be my first like thought process and thesis would be trading that breakout, and then it being a treasury play would give me more conviction in the trade working out. I wouldn't just buy it because it could finalize its treasury news. I need like chart setups first and then the news second is kind of how I look at it. From my limited understanding, if options are involved in driving it up and the first red day ends up with Friday, fades get wild. Yeah, if options are involved in driving it up and first red day lines up with Friday, you want it to get below those strike prices that have a high open interest and have had high volume in previous days, because that's where the market makers are hedged, is what my understanding is. Are you swinging? Yeah, I still have my position on TMC. I bought it this day, I think. Right in... Was it yesterday? Or was it the day before? I think it was yesterday. I bought it through those 730s. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, I bought it like right in here. I've got a 733 average. It pulled back, swiped, higher low, and then right here, I bought it right here on this volume candle, swipe. So I bought it 730s, risking 710, so I've got 20 cents of risk. And then it went to 780s. So I was up 50 cents. So right here is a 2-to-1, but like you say, I'm looking for that 8 break. So if it closes below 710s, I'll cut it. But this is looking really good. I like this inside day. It looks like it wants to head higher tomorrow. Lack of volume, not picking up in the first 15 minutes. It bailed. Nice. Thanks for explaining that about options. You bet. Thanks for the analysis on SEPO. Like how you select stock. Sounds good. Good feedback. Appreciate it, guys. I'm really liking open. This is setting up sexy. It's running here from like 80 cents. It's at $1.60 right now. It's being pumped on Twitter by the guy who basically picked Carvana. Carvana was a Zach Morris name during COVID. So I'm thinking it must have been back there or something. But I remember Zach Morris talking about this one. This other guy picked Carvana like down here. And now he's got some clout because he picked a winner. So he's been posting about Open on Twitter. He owns a hedge fund. And he's basically calling this as going to $82. So because he called it on Carvana, people think he's going to do it again here. This stock has never seen $80. It's trading at all-time lows. I think this ends up like Nikola. Every time it has gone on a multi-day run, it ends up right back at lows. I'm really hoping we get something like this right here, where we go boom, 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 and I'm going to be looking for this day. So ideally, I want to see Open run for one more day. But if it gaps up high enough, I'll trade it, but we'll see. I'm really liking how it's setting up. So let me finish running scans here. ALM. That's another metals name, and it's failing to follow through. Where's the rest of my daily chart? Not pulling it up, oh well. Any other names you guys want to throw out there? XXII running after hours. Anything that you think I might like or want to add to my watch list? XX. Even my computer fan is on because it's so freaking hot here. Vancouver's getting a heat wave. 90s, 100. Yeah, we're in like high 90s, 100-degree weather right now. It's ridiculous. Let me see. Come on. Yeah, that Open daily is just gorgeous. BTCS tried to break out today and failed. That 620 line. Is it humid up there? Yeah, I don't need, let me see. What is our humidity? Right now we're sitting at 57% humidity. Tomorrow is like 62%. So it's like thick, and that just makes it super hot. D Pro kind of broke out today. Over 450s. Little overhead resistance at 580. Wow, big move after hours. Got caught in that for a small loss, thought it would break out. Somebody sold a ton. It's the most beautiful coast up there, Vancouver Island, rainforest, I hear, whatever that island is. Yeah, Vancouver Island's nice. You got like Victoria over there, Nanaimo. A lot of people go to Nanaimo. Yeah, Vancouver Island's pretty popular. A lot of tourists. Big touristy spot here. Carmel, I traded that one today for just a quick scalp. I was looking for weak opens, and we just got a straight up spike right off the open. So I had started some using like this 350-ish as a guide, and was looking for it to pull back and add to that position, and it was just straight up. I said in chat and IU, I said, this is not healthy, I'm selling. And pretty much the top. It's unfortunate when the setup looks good, and then the way in which the price action acts with that setup just makes it super non-ideal. SY, that thing keeps going. I remember shorting that at like $1. Yeah, I was shorting it like down here on that gap up and failed fall through day. Keeps going. It's kind of funny because going into today, if anyone was on the broadcast this morning over in IU, I was basically looking at a bunch of the rare earth names as like all the mining basket and metal names and stuff. I was looking at those for longs off of weak opens. I was looking at above and Inkit for backside bounces. I was looking for IBGE for liquidity traps. Basically everything I was looking at was a long idea. And now going into tomorrow, I've got a couple swings on, but most of my day trade ideas are short. Funny how it just shifts and swings like that. Circle, that's probably worth putting back on a watch list. It's starting to perk back. You got to pull back, higher low, higher high through those two teens. Little pocket pivot volume. Looks decent. What else? I bought some Omex today off the week open. This is in the rare earth and minerals and mining basket. Because we had this big move, pull back, set its lower high, topped out there. So that 150 break seemed like an early entry spot. So I bought some here with wide risk down to Paradise lows. I'll swing it. Ideally it holds 150s. Just looking for an early entry into that $2 break, and then could possibly add to that winner if the sector stays strong. But just so many names in this sector are moving. You had Caramel. You have Eric. This one's starting to come back. We'll keep this one on watch through 160s. You have TMC, obviously. I'm still in that one. Bunch of names in that sector. If you go on FinViz and just sort by the sector of those names, there's a ton of them with good looking charts. What else? I'm thinking I should probably like not overdo it and just focus on those few main multi-day runners. Just on my last scan here. BMNR keeps failing. I wonder if this one I should just short it. Every time it just fails. Where's RGC at? 14. What about MLGO? Did that end up back at lows? Right over here, I was looking for it to do a multi-day run. It never saw higher. Excuse me. What did Viot end up doing today? Weak breakout. Boring. Okay, well, that's enough for the scanning portion. MP got whacked in after hours. That's one of those mineral names. Okay, so in a couple minutes here, my charts and stuff are gonna reset for tomorrow because we're getting close to midnight there at Eastern, and DAS resets around there, so I'll try to speed through it quick here. But definitely looking at SBET and Jobby multi-day runners extending from their 4 EMA. Higher the better. Ideally, they'd go higher tomorrow, and we get a Friday trade on them. Same kind of thing with Open. This is looking really good. I love shorting these names. That the spread is super tight. They trade super tight. And you can get moves like this, like 20, 30-cent moves, very instantly, and they trend really cleanly. The spreads are only a penny. You can trade any size you want. It's trading 300 million shares. If you've got $300 million, you shouldn't be trading. But pretty much any size you want, you can trade on something like that. So those multi-day runners are definitely my main watch. IXHL, see if that one goes higher. I just went over Omex, I have a position. TMC, I have a position. And then Eric and Carmel. I sold my Carmel position. Interested in seeing how these reset up. But currently have no position in those two. IBG could be a breakout here through the 140s. Don't really love it as much now that T+1 isn't in play. Inkit, I should probably just take that one on off watch to a liquid. I'll leave this one on watch, but I doubt I play it again tomorrow. It's gapping up like 20-25% already because it closed at like 160 and then ripping in after hours, so it'll be gapping up way too much tomorrow. I probably won't touch it. Other recent runners. Workhorse, big parabolic. Through 250s and then failed fall through under it right there. This one here, I could see a swing for it back to lows as long as it doesn't fail or build above 250s. Could risk like prior bar highs off of 280s off pops and just send it back to lows. Maybe. VOR finally broke down today. So yeah, looking at those rare earth names for breakouts, and then looking at those 3 multi-day runners for pullbacks towards the end of the week here. Thanks for explaining that short perspective on stocks like Open, usually longing those and getting burned. Need to get short them. Yeah, I won't long Open. And if this were to, like Nikola, this is what it's trading a lot like Nikola. If Open did something like this, so I'd look for it to parabolic, get this first red day, and then if it were to tighten up and consolidate for a couple weeks, I'd play that breakout on that secondary leg because everybody swing shorts these looking for them back to zero, which they are zero. It's just a matter of when, not if. So the only way I would trade open is on enough consolidation and a secondary breakout, but it would need to consolidate for a really long time to digest a move like that. But I'm looking for this parabolic first red day, and it's getting there. Ideally, this goes 2 plus. What's the RSI sitting at on this? Pull up RSI. Is at 83 right now, so it could still get higher. Once it's like 90 plus, I basically try to build in a short position if the chart agrees. But only at 83, it still could push higher. The 4 EMA is only at 120, and it's only at and the stock price is only at 160. So it's not super extended. So ideally, this goes 2 plus, and then I'd be frothing at the mouth. But we'll see. Alrighty guys, that's a couple minutes here till midnight for you East Coasters, so I will wrap it up there. I will post this as soon as I hop off. And yeah, I don't think there's a ton of guys around for the broadcast tomorrow, so I might hop on the Investors Underground broadcast as well and share some ideas. So we will see. I will catch you guys on the next watch list. Thanks for tuning in. Take it easy, guys. Peace.